Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing a video, and today it's going to be a first in a probably prolonged series of videos that I'm doing about manifestation and what I think about this subject that's obviously fascinating and very interesting. It has been to me for many years. So, as far as how far I go back with it, I would have to say that I go back with it probably uh, to my mid-teen years, 15, 16, 17, or, you know, and it really was, I was buying some books about the occult and just reading there. I think my mom had like these Time Life books about the occult too that got from some weird friend of hers or something that left them at her house or whatever. There's a lot of weird stuff that was around as a kid because, very interesting. And I'm actually grateful for that. Not grateful for everything growing up, like I said in some previous videos, but that is one thing I'm grateful for, is that's had such a pluralistic environment to live in as far as religion and beliefs and even politics. A lot of my politics, speaking of that, basically come from some of the people that were around. Because they said, "Oh, this is bullshit." I'm like, "Why?" And they explained it. I'm like, and then it's like, "Oh, this is propaganda," or they would say, "This is propaganda." Oh, wait, what do you mean by that? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, they lied about that. 6 months later, we find out they were lying about that. There's some. Oh, well, they didn't really, so and so on. But anyways, that's not what this video is about because I'm trying really hard to resist doing political videos on this channel for a while, even though there's a video I'll release that I recorded yesterday that has a little bit of politics in it. Well, it has a lot, but it's not politically focused. So, but here's the situation. So I got into all this stuff a little bit, like I would read these books and I'll be like, oh, well, maybe that's true. What you focus on is what you get, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't really taken by it quite yet until, my early 20s. And I don't think I really had a grasp on it for a long time until my early 30s. So while, a long time ago, I went and I would do this thing where I would write these lists. And this is probably late 20s, actually, that I started doing this. And I didn't do it that often. And it's usually about one subject. And, that is one of those subjects that I have been more interested in and challenged by as well, is dating. So I would do this thing, and I'm going to I call it the column method, because basically it's like you put on a sheet of paper, you put like a line in the middle, and then you put another line on the top, and on the left, unless you're like from a different culture that reads right to left, just to be clear, if you're watching this in another country like that has that, on the left you would put, like, on the top you'd say bad beliefs or negative beliefs, and then on the right you would say changed, what you're going to change them to. So I would do this, and I wouldn't actually even, so I watch a lot of these manifestation channels now, and they say to make these into affirmations, what you're turning these beliefs into, and I've taken some courses as well. I wouldn't even do that. So I would write down, when this first happened in like maybe my early 30s that I did this, I would write down, and just to be totally clear and totally transparent, as bad as I want to admit that, don't want to admit this, but a lot of it was about, the opposite sex and stuff. So I was like, oh, women think I'm ugly and crazy or whatever, or something like that, And I would write down this belief on the left, and then, or, I'd write that down, and then on the right, I would put on the what I want that changed to. So But that's not it. So, because I would also put first, I would put counter examples. Then I would change it to what I want it to be changed to. Because I think I don't think any, there are people that have no good examples of things in their life, of any sort. But if you have to start really small in this process, then that's what you can do. Is like, so for example, the dating thing's a perfect example. So let's say, God forbid, you're a virgin at age 40 and you've never had a girlfriend, so you believe you'll never have a girlfriend. You could put that, girls aren't, or women, women aren't interested in me, and for whatever reason, like I stutter a lot or something. You don't have to put the stuttering thing in there, but just like that would be an example of something that you don't believe in women. But then this is what you would do on the right column. So you'd put my friend Joe stutters all the time, and he gets laid like a madman or something. That's how you would start. And then you go down this list, and this is, I think, the longer the list goes, the more powerful this technique is. Because I think when you're going really this deep, you'll feel it. Like when you write this down, you'll be like, whoa, what the hell? And I don't know if I hesitate. I'm going to call this a manifestation technique because of the fact of the matter is that I've seen shit happen in my life from doing this. Even the last year and a half, it's happened to me. My last girlfriend was a result of doing this technique. I'm just going to say flat out, it probably was. She probably was. And because of stuff that I would write down and imagine in my head, imaginal scenes or whatever, Neville Goddard kind of stuff. I'll admit it, it's a fact, because I had a vision. I had this vision of this woman in my head. I'm going to go more into this in another video because I'm just doing this about the what I call the column method. But I did have that. So I'll go into this in an upcoming video. So more into that stuff. But this whole column method really works for limiting beliefs and for just things that are negative in your life. For example, let's say you're, like I've done a lot of stuff about the crisis that we're in, right? Let's say you actually believe that there will be lockdowns for 20 years because of this crisis, and you'll never be able to go anywhere without a immunity certificate. Let's just say this is your belief, right? I'm not saying it's not like rational to believe that, considering some of the people out there and some of what's going on. But let's just say that's your belief. You could put a counterexample. Well, that never happened in 1918, 1919. There was never. They just let it go. You write you write counter examples on the right part of the column to counter those ideas, and you break them down really small. You chunk down, as they call it in NLP. You chunk down really low until you're on the just the basic beliefs, the core of these beliefs, and on both sides, like you go well down into it. Like, why do you believe this? You have to have counter examples, though, because I think the counter examples are really what fueled some of my confidence with women, for example. And, obviously I'm not perfect at that for various reasons, but the fact of the matter is, it depends on where you are in life, of course. And it's just like, it's something that I haven't done enough, I'll be honest, too. I've only done it, let's see, so I've only done this method. I haven't never done it regularly. It's only these periods of time in my life where I've done it. I'm like, get really down about myself in life, and then I'll do it. And then things will happen, and then I'll forget about this column method, and I won't do it. I think it's good to be committed to it more than I have, and other, what people say. I mean, I think it's good to be committed to it, to do it more consistently. That's what I'm trying to say. And I probably will start doing more consistently, but it works. And it's like, so for example, another thing that I did years ago was wrote down, well, I'm too fat for hot women. And then I would have a friend that I'm like, whoa, wow, or I'm too old for this, or I'm too old, for that. But you write down in the other side of the column, the right side, you write down examples of people experiences you've had, and ideas or situations that you've had that contradict and counter what's going on in your head. That's the negative part. And this really is a beginning of, like, I think it's a good way to break things down. And the problem is you'll go back to a lot of these beliefs, unfortunately, pretty easily. But at the same time, it's like it's a lot harder to get back to that if you have this in your head, if you really cycle it through. And that's really what's happened to me in the past, where I've written these things down and I've done this method, which I call the column method. And I think it really is helpful to get things in life and manifest things. So I haven't done it about enough things too. I've mainly done it about manifesting a girlfriend and stuff. And that's the only thing about it that I guess that's pretty important to me. I don't know. I mean, it's just I really don't. I mean, I'm not really that obsessed with it in a way, but like, I guess because when I was young, I didn't really. It was something that was so lacking in my life. It drove me pretty mad. So that's why it's kind of remained and stuck with me. The whole manifesting a girlfriend thing, manifesting a lover, or whatever. So that's really the impetus on this. So I'm just trying to think of other things that I would recommend with it. I think that's a good start at getting things in order, because, and then that, like, Roxy Lee, she'll talk about writing affirmations from this. I'm not trying to give away too much of her stuff. I've actually seen some of her. I have one of her courses. I'll be honest, and I'm not going to try to. I'm just saying, like, she said this in videos too, but I think this is a good thing too, is to make affirmations out of that. And I don't think that's necessary all the time though, because as long as you have that in your head, like when you do this column method, you think about these situations that contradict the situation that you're, that's negative. So, and it is hard to like go back to. I think that's the one challenge, and that's something that I'm going to find out. I think is try to really get this nailed down in my own life, because it's been hard to remain consistent with anything, and it's hard to remain consistent with this method even, because it's like you'll see some results in real life, and you'll be like, oh well, it worked. Oh, I'm just going to put this notebook away. Blah blah blah. And really, I've never been consistent with it. So 2011, I did it, and it definitely helped. And I did it last year, or was it last year? It was 2018. I actually did it a little bit, and then I did it a lot in 2019. And it really, there's results from this. I swear, because you see things happen in your life that you just didn't fathom happening before. So I think this whole thing, like they say in a lot of the manifestation community, is that what you push out there is what you get. So but you have to go inside and you have to really break stuff down to get to that point where you're pushing out something else. And it's hard. It is hard. It's very difficult. Right now, especially, it's probably the most difficult right now in the climate that we're in, the political situation, the crises that we're in, the virus stuff, and just the being locked down. I mean, as I said in my video I recorded last night, which is probably going to be up too. If not, I don't know if it's going to be before or after this video. I don't care, whatever. You'll judge when you see it. So, as I said before in that, I made the decision that I'm going to try to act as if this is not happening, as far as the crisis. And that's another way to manifest things. And I don't mean like going out and like trying to go to like the most crowded bar of places that doesn't have mandates and just try to sniff people's sneezes or some shit. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to consider my life normal and do to the furthest extent that I can do stuff that I already did before. Like, for example, as I will talk about in this other video, or I already did, depending on when I post this one, I hired a personal trainer, and I'm going to start going next week. And it's going to be, it's not like a long-term thing. It's going to be like, I think it's like 6 sessions or 9. I can't remember, 6 or 9. And I'm getting this done so I can get a routine going, so I can get in shape, lose weight, and look better and feel better. And that's something that I would have done maybe before, but before the virus crisis. But I think one of the things that this crisis has made me think about is like, I mean, it's like, okay, so it's like kind of like something's taken away from you, so you value that more. So you're going to do more, want to go towards what is being taken away from you more. It's not, and the gym's open, okay? I mean, I have to wear a mask, which is, oh my God. So it is difficult, I'll just say. But I am wiped out from that workout because I had a consultation / first session yesterday, and I am wiped out. And the mask made me a little nauseous, I'll be honest. And I had to take a lot of breaks, but it's gonna be a challenge. So, but the challenge is breaking through a lot of this stuff that we're going through right now. So that's one way to do it, is the column method, because the column method is, I don't know, I think to me it's time tested, because I've seen results every time I do it. I've seen, every time. The last like, I'll just be totally honest, and I'll just say, like, a lot of things come in waves with me with relationships. Like, there'll be 2 or 3 in 2 years or a year or two, like, that's how it works. And then there's these long gaps, unfortunately, which I'm trying to stop. But a lot of the times when these happen is I'm doing that column method, because I'm just like breaking stuff down, and then bam, 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 more ways than one. So, anyways, pardon the vulgarity, but it's just like, it's one of those things that I think I'm gonna redo this video. It's fucking lame.